Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Usman Javed and this is a determinate structure analysis course. In this lecture we will discuss the arches. This is the content of this lecture in which we will introduce you to the three-hinge arch, its general proof, parabolic arch, circular arch, and some practical examples of arches will be performed in this class. Arch is a curved structure or a humped beam which is purely a compression member, which only takes a compression, which resists the imposed loading by means only of compression. Like we have a cable member is purely a tension member. In this case, the arches are purely compression member. The hinge introduced anywhere in the arch makes the structure um, as a determinate. So in this determinate structure analysis course, we will discuss the three hinge arch by which uh, we can make the arch as a determinate structure. Both supports in three hinge arch are hinge supports, and one hinge is introduced normally at the top of the camber. Here is a typical example of a three-hinge arch in which we have a arch with a span L, and the total height and or a rise of our arch is YC. It has a hinge at the top of a camber or a crown. On the other hand, we have a two hinge support at both ends. These supports resist two reactions, horizontal and vertical reactions, and this intentionally introduced hinge is used to provide the moment releases. One can solve the arch as a beam if we have by considering a horizontal reaction, as we have a considerable amount of a height of a arch, so we consider the horizontal reaction in case of a arch unlike the beams. So the solution of arch and beams are totally resembles with each other, but one difference is there is no horizontal force acting in the beam, horizontal reaction acting in the beam, if we have no horizontal force acting, a horizontal for applied force. But in the case of a arch, we have a horizontal reaction um, without any fact that any horizontal force is reacting or not. The horizontal reaction always be generated. So with the help of a three-hinge arch, we can easily determine the horizontal reaction and calculate the horizontal thrust on the arch. Consider we have a B, C arch uh, on which the A, B are the hinge support and C is the internal hinge introduced at the crown of the arch. YC is the total rise, total height, or you can say total rise. L is the span of this arch, three hinge arch. So what we do is, first we have to calculate the reactions, then we will calculate the horizontal thrust in the arch. So what general procedure is adopted to solve this determinate structure is, first you have to take the sigma for y equals 0, then you have ay and by equals 0, equals to some vertical loading which has been imposed. And afterwards what you will do is you take the section at point C and determine the moment at C. By doing so, you will come up with the horizontal reaction, and then you can calculate the value of a horizontal reaction by means of when you have a amount of a moment at this point. So you must keep in mind that the moment at point C would be equals to, if we take the section AC or we take the section BC. This is what we have discussed in the internal forces in the beams, frames, and trusses. In which, if you take the section in any of the case, the moment at the superposition would be equal. Then you have a moment at this point C, and you can calculate the value of a horizontal by dividing this moment with the height of this rise by taking, or you can also take the moment at point C equals 0 by taking section over here, and you will have a value of horizontal thrust being calculated. So the general derivation is, if you take the moment at point hinge point C, then you will have a moment at point C, some value of moment due to imposed due to internal forces or some external forces. And here is an equation to calculate the horizontal thrust, which is the moment at point C, which is due to the internal forces and external forces. Internal forces is the reaction and external is applied loading. YC is the maximum distance at the midspan. In this way you can calculate the horizontal thrust or horizontal reaction. This is the case when you have to calculate the amount of shear at any section. So this is a section taken at point C. So here are the external and internal forces acting. W1 and W2 are the external forces applied, and V is the shear force, or you can say reaction at support. H is a horizontal reaction. If we resolve these forces into a triangular component, it might resemble like this triangle, in which you have a horizontal reaction. The component of a horizontal reaction on the tangent of this arch would be taken as h cos of theta, which is going rightward. So h cos of theta is horizontal component if we take the local axis as a tangent being drawn to this arch. So h cos theta is a horizontal component, and if we take the vertical component, which is h sin theta, to that tangent, it can be written as h sin theta as a vertical component, and h itself is the hypotenuse. Then we can take the sigma f of x equals 0 to calculate the amount of force P. So amount of force P would be equals to, P is going leftward, h cos of theta is going rightward. If we take sigma f of x equals 0 by taking rightward going reactions positive, then we can write P equals h cos of theta and plus V sin of theta. Basically this is a resolution of a reaction, this V reaction. So theta, this theta is basically this theta is 90 minus theta of this. So we have a V is basically a hypotenuse. V is basically a hypotenuse if we consider the local axis as a x-axis, local x-axis as a tangent being drawn to the truss, to the arch. Then V is a vertical force acting, which is a hypotenuse in case of this local axis, this tangent local axis. And if we take the cos component of this V, we will have a vertical component, because the theta in this case is 90 minus theta. For in case of a horizontal component, we have a V sin theta. If we resolve it into a triangle, it would be like this theta would be like 90 minus theta. So cos of theta or um, sine of 90 minus theta would be equal. So the the P force and the F force, which is horizontal and vertical forces respectively, can be calculated by resolving by taking the sigma f of y equals 0 and x equals 0, which comes out as equation 3 and 4. So in case of f, we have a h sine theta, which is the vertical component perpendicular to the tangent being drawn, and v cos theta, which is going upward contrary to the h sine theta, and it is taken as negative. So here is a section of a truss at point C for calculating the internal forces. So likewise we can take the value of P and value of H by these equations, and the resultant of a force which is acting in the tangent direction by taking the square and adding up and taking the square root of these values. If there are two types of arches, one can be taken as a parabolic arch, and second one is circular arch. 3-inch arch is basically a parabolic arch in shape. It carries a uniformly distributed load over it, and the every action or every response of arch toward the applied loading is in compression. No matter the what type of a loading it is, whether it's a horizontal load, vertical load, point load, or a uniformly distributed load, the response to that loading would be totally in compression. Secondly, the parabolic arch will resist the horizontal thrust, which is the horizontal traction acting, unlike in case of a beam. And there is no shear force or a bending moment acting in the parabolic arch. So if we take the parabolic arch, we have an equation of a parabola as x square minus x and multiply by the constant value. So constant value shows the amplitude of a parabolic arch. If we take the value of x, which is a section, in case of a section being drawn at point C, we have its half of a length. If L is the span of a arch, then section at point C would be L by 2. And the vertical section at point X equals L by 2 would be the vertical distance for section X equals L by 2 will be the YC, which is the maximum distance. If we compute these values in this parabolic equation, it will be like gamma into L by 2 into L by 2, which comes out as gamma as a constant value equals to 4yc over L square. In case we have a x equals to 1 by 4, then we have a 3 by 4 of a yc in case of a parabola. It is an attribute of a parabola. So if we want to derivate the value of y with respect to x, we can have a value of a theta in case of a parabolic arch, which is basically the angle of a parabola. So we have to compute the value of these values yc, L, and the section being drawn at which you want to take the value of a theta. So you can have a value of a theta at any point x. So in case of a circular arch, you can solve or resolve the circular arch by taking it as a semicircle, and then drawn the value of a radius, which is a radius equals to OB, OA, and OC. So in case of a circular arch, we have a value of a radius equals to OA, OB. And if we talk about the half of the length of a chord, which is basically L by 2. It can be written as AD equals BD equals L by 2. L by 2 is basically the half of the span of a circular arch. We can write it YC as a DC. Then if we compute the value of if we resolve this circular arch into a triangular arch in order to find a value of radius, then we can write it as OX, which is a hypotenuse, equals OY whole square plus OX whole square. So we can take this equation from the Pythagoras theorem, at which you have a y value which is dropping, which is basically the projection of x at this radius. So you can write this equation in the form of r square. OX is basically r square, which is the radius of this curve, this semicircle, this circle, equals to OY equals to XY, which is basically the horizontal length, plus this one component, which is OC minus CY, which can also be written as R minus YC plus Y, which can be taken as a distance between O and Y. So O and Y can be written as R, which is a radius, minus YC, we have come up at this point. Then we have to add the value of Y, which is basically this distance. So this whole component can be representing O to Y distance. So we can solve the value. We can resolve this circular arch by these formulas. So for example, we have a parabolic arch on which we have a uniformly distributed load on its left of the half, which is 0.75 kilotons per feet. It has a rise, which is a YC value of 10 feet. We have to calculate the reactions, vertical reactions, and horizontal reaction, which is a normal thrust, and we have to take the values of shear and moment at 6, 12 and 30 feet from the left hinge. So what we'll do is, basically this is a representation of a question which has been asked. It's a 3-inch arch on which the 0.75 ton per feet of a load, as uniformly distributed load, is applied. You have a span of L equals to 48 feet and YC, which equals to 10 feet. How can we resolve it? First, you have to take the reactions F. You have to solve it for the AY and BY. So AY, you will take the sigma F of Y equals 0, so that you can calculate Fy, AY and BY, which is equals to 0.75 ton multiplied by this distance, which is 24, and you will have a resultant value, which is 18 ton. So the equation formed as AY plus BY equals to 18. So after this, you will take the moment at point A equals 0 to calculate the value of BY. So the moment equation would be like 0.75 times the value of span, which is 24, multiplied by the moment arm, which is 12 feet. So it is making the clockwise moment. On the other hand, you have a BY, which is making the counterclockwise moment. So in this case we have taken the clockwise moment as a positive, then BY into 48 would be taken as negative. So the BY value is come up as 4.5 tons. And now we have a values of A and BY coming up as 4.5 and if you want to compute the value of By in this equation, you will have a value of Ay, which is as 13.5 ton. Afterwards, you have to calculate the value of horizontal thrust, how much horizontal thrust is there to support these imposed loading. So for this purpose, we will have to take the section over here. So we'll take the section and so we'll take the section at point C and calculate the value of moment at C. So we can take the section from A to C or C to B. In this case, for simplicity, I can take the section at C and B. So at C and B, there is only one force, external force, which is acting, which is By, which can contribute toward the moment at point C. So By is 4.5. So 4.5 times 24 would be 108. So 108 divided by, so 108 is the amount of a moment which is acting at this hinge at C point. Likewise, we have a moment releases, it would not be resisted, but the amount of a moment coming up at C is basically 108 fit ton. So we have a moment at point C. We can calculate the value of horizontal reaction, which is horizontal thrust, by taking this equation that I have explained earlier in previous slides. So over here we have a or else we can take the moment at point or else we can take the moment at point B for the calculation of this horizontal thrust, as we have all the other forces known. So for the simplicity, we can calculate it by this equation, which is H equals to negative of moment at point C divided by Yc. So negative value indicates that the uh, the force is in opposite direction. So if we take the moment which is in clockwise direction of 108 fit cape, and uh, we have a vertical force coming up, which is making the moment this one moment, and you have a horizontal reaction contributing for the moment of h into 10. So you can take the sigma you can take the moment at point you can take the moment at point C B. So you can take the moment at point C for the so you can take the moment at point B for the calculation of a horizontal upward thrust while taking this as a section. So we by taking the moment at point B, we have a 108 ton fit ton moment, and so we can calculate the horizontal upward thrust by this formula by computing the value of moment at point C divided by Yc. Moment at point C is 108 and Yc is 10. So we have a horizontal component equals to 10.8 tons, which is acting rightward direction. So these are the reaction forces: vertical reaction at A, vertical reaction at B, and horizontal reaction. So these equations are used to calculate the amount of a theta at different points, and this parabolic equation is used to find out the value of y. So we have take the sections at 6, 12 and 30 as suggested in the question. So we can find the value of y, theta, cos of theta, sine of theta, and ultimately moment, shear, P force and F force by computing the value of x into the formulas. So in this way we can solve the three hinge arch by using the parabolic equation and resolving it into its basic components. So we can solve this equation, this parabolic. So we can solve this parabolic arch as well. And in this example, the three hinge arch, which is shown in the figure, it has a uniformly distributed load over it with the intensity of 7 kilonewton per meter. So what we do is we have to find the axial compression at point D. So what we will do is, let's see, first we have to calculate the values of reactions by taking the sigma f of y equals 0 and by taking the sigma moment at any point equals 0. So we have the values of cy and ay coming up as 105 and 105 because it has a UDL, uniform distributed load over it. And if we take the section over here, we can calculate the amount of horizontal thrust by taking the moment at point B, in a similar way that I have explained earlier. So you can calculate the amount of internal forces after we have a horizontal Cx uh, equals to 105 kilonewton of force. Now what we can do is we can take the point D by taking the similar triangular rule and resolve for the forces, that is moment, shear, by summing up the horizontal, vertical and moment at a point D. So in this way we can solve it by mathematically and graphically. So I am leaving this example for you to solve. This was a lecture on on arches, on three hinge and circular arch. Hope you have learned a lot from this lecture. In case of any question, you can ask in comment section and you can contact me on my email. Thank you so much for watching.